I'm here in Portsmouth to find out about the issues affecting you. This is 2-6. Coming up in this edition, we have an update from the Fleet Redundancy Cell. Resettlement, what it can do for you. We meet Kirsty Wallace in our third instalment of Olympic Hopefuls. But first, I catch up with 1SL in the new Ops Room simulator at the Maritime Warfare School in HMS Collingwood for his New Year message. Firstly, Lord, thank you very much for joining me. Now, over the last year, the Royal Navy has had some 8,000 sailors and Marines on operations at sea and abroad. So what have the Royal Navy been doing over the last 12 months?
Kate, it's been an astoundingly busy year. And I'm quotable, of course, after the SDSR as saying we can't do more with less, we'll have to do less with less. And in 2011, we delivered more. Let's take Afghanistan. We had 3 Commando Brigade deployed, with an astonishing cross-section of other naval elements as well, delivering 25%, in fact nearly 30% of the forces on the ground. Arguably, they've broken what we call the cycle of violence out there, which, if it can be maintained, will make a huge difference to the future of Afghanistan. And then Libya, of course, Libya. 700 days collectively of ships and submarines off Libya, contributing from everything from recovery of 500 British personnel from Libya in the early stages to delivering naval gunfire support, more naval gunfire support than we have done since the Falkland Islands. Fantastic contribution to what ultimately was a great success in allowing the Libyan people to determine their own future. And that, of course, over and beyond what we do on a daily basis out there around the world, contributing to the Middle East, in the security or maintain security in the Middle East, a worry now with our concerns over Iran, with counter-piracy in the Indian Ocean, with counter-drugs and humanitarian relief in the Caribbean, our continued support to the Falkland Islands, and of course the strategic deterrent. And of course around UK waters, which includes everything from fishery protection to SAR. All of this has been conducted without missing a beat during 2011, and something I think we should be awfully proud of.
It's now more than a year on from the Defence Review announcements, and understandably things have been pretty busy on the people, policy and platforms front. So now that the dust has settled a little, how do you see things shaping up for the fleet of the Future Force 2020?
Well, let me answer it along your policy, people and platforms line. Policy, we're engaged in the greatest change in processes and procedures and structures within the Ministry of Defence since it was formed in 1964. Focusing in on the naval business, then the Naval Command Review, of course, is where we're doing the most change. The Naval Headquarters itself being rationalised, looking at the processes that we're using, trying to reduce the number of people in what one could term as an overhead, and making sure that the accountability, responsibility and authority chain of command is better focused. And indeed, as a consequence of some of these changes, it ought to be. On the people front, very much focused on the final throes of the redundancy rounds, which of course now we're only going to have 2 rather than the 3 that was originally predicted. Important that we get that right, but equally important that we get the rebalancing of those people left within the Navy and their branch structures right as well, and there's a lot of work going on in that direction. There's another positive point that is the backdrop to the new vision we have for reserves within the Navy, which by 2020 should have about 12% of the Navy part of the reserve force. And on platforms, we have, of course, the carriers being built in Rosyth, pulling together huge structures, 9,000-ton structures to millimetric precision, something I think we should be enormously proud of as a nation in being engineeringly able to do this. The Type 45s, 4 of them now have white ensigns. 2 of them will be deployed on operations in 2012, Daring to the Middle East and Dauntless to the South Atlantic. The 5th of the 7 Astute class submarines, the keel has been laid. We're looking to see the fleet tanker orders coming through in 2012. We're looking to the first stage of the design requirements, what we call initial gate, for the Type 26 frigates becoming a reality in 2012. We're looking to move forward on the strategic deterrent replacement, which will ensure our ability to replace the Vanguard class by the 2028 timeframe. And we're doing a huge amount of change within the helicopter fleet area as well. All significant in terms of future 2024 structure, but ones we must keep a very close eye on.
Looking beyond 2012 now, what do you see are the main challenges for the next few years ahead?
Well, I think delivering the here and now is going to be a challenge. As part of the Strategic Defence and Security Review, we knew we would be drawing down to be able to build up again towards the 2024 structure. So delivering contingency against events will be a challenge. Let's not underestimate that. But other challenges that sit out there, I'm continually focused on the personnel challenge, the delivery of the 5,000 reductions. We've got to make sure that is correct, not just for the people that are departing the Navy, but for those that are left within the Navy. We've got to make sure that there's a continual focus on the delivery of the equipment programme. That's important because in times of fiscal constraint, you can eat away at the edges of those, and we've got to make sure that within a comprehensive defence policy, the naval element is important.
So to sum up then, what would your final message be to everyone out there?
Firstly, how hugely proud I am to lead this service. A service which has been significant in supporting security in Afghanistan. A service that's been significant in enabling the Libyan people to determine their own future. And a service that's been able, against huge pressures, to continue to deliver all of the standing commitments that are out there on a daily basis, which we've had no respite in whatsoever. The second message is one of confidence. Yes, the Navy is a little smaller than it was 3 years ago, but it's still a full spectrum Navy. It can still do a bit of everything. So whilst we're smaller, we're still the most effective, I believe, Navy. We're certainly the most efficient, I believe, Navy. We still provide the best training, and we're still ready to do what the government requires of us at a moment's notice. The next one is to continue to fight, not just me and the Navy Board, but everybody in the Navy, pushing the point forward of the relevance of the Navy to an island nation dependent on trade and commerce, and how important we are. And getting that argument across is something that I invite everybody wearing uniform or who has worn uniform be actively engaged in spreading that message. But finally, and probably most importantly, it's one of thanks. It's a thanks to all those people that in 2011 have contributed so magnificently to the security and indeed I'd say prosperity of this nation by doing what they do, and of course to their families as well, because without their families we can't do what we do. So my very final message is thank you.